Diane said those words on a Tuesday night after dinner, and I felt like someone had slapped me across the face. We had been married for 7 years. There was no big fight, no scandal. Just that cold statement like I was not even worth sharing a bed with anymore. I stood there holding a plate still dripping with dishwater, watching my wife walk up the stairs without looking back. Something had changed between us, but when? Before I tell you how I dealt with it, let me know where you are watching from in the comments. And if you have ever felt dismissed in your own home, hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you will want to see how this plays out. I met Diane at a local art gallery 9 years ago. She worked in marketing, smart and confident, the kind of woman who could light up a room just by walking into it. We dated for 2 years before getting married. That first year of marriage was everything I had hoped for. Weekend trips to the coast, cooking together on Sunday afternoons, laughing over stupid inside jokes that nobody else would understand. I worked for a software company with steady income, and we bought a small house in the suburbs with a backyard perfect for summer barbecues. Around 6 months before that Tuesday night, Diane got promoted to marketing director. I was proud of her. She had worked hard for that position, and she deserved it. But with the promotion came longer hours. She started coming home later sometimes, not until 8 or 9 at night. Weekend meetings became normal. I supported her completely. This was her dream, and I wanted to be the kind of husband who stood by his wife's ambitions. But something else changed too. Diane stopped talking to me. Our dinners became silent affairs, where she scrolled through her phone, giving me one-word answers when I asked about her day. She stopped asking about mine. The bedroom grew cold, not just emotionally but physically. We had not been intimate in months. Every time I tried to initiate any kind of closeness, she would say she was tired or had an early meeting. I tried everything I could think of to reconnect with her. I made reservations at her favorite Italian restaurant downtown. She canceled an hour before saying she had a client emergency. I bought flowers and left them on the kitchen counter with a note. She texted me, "That is nice from work." When she got home that night, she barely glanced at them before heading upstairs with her laptop. That Tuesday started like any other day. I got home from work around 6 and decided to make her favorite meal, honey garlic roasted chicken with roasted vegetables. She used to rave about it, saying I made it better than any restaurant. I set the table, lit a candle, and waited. She walked through the door at 8, her face tired, but her fingers still flying across her phone screen. Dinner was quiet. I tried to start conversations about my new project at work, about a movie we had talked about seeing months ago, about anything that might get her to look at me. She nodded in the right places, made appropriate sounds, but I could tell she was not really listening. After we finished eating, I started washing the dishes. Diane stood next to me, checking her phone again. Then she said it. "I am not sleeping with you anymore." I thought she was joking at first. I let out a small laugh, looking over at her. But her face was serious, almost bored, like she was telling me she had switched brands of coffee. "What, I am serious. I need space. You can take the guest room." My hands stopped moving in the soapy water. "What are you talking about? What happened? Did I do something wrong?" "Nothing happened. I just need this. Deal with it." Her tone was not sad or apologetic. It was commanding, like she was giving instructions to an employee not talking to her husband. She did not wait for my response. She just turned and walked upstairs, leaving me standing there with wet hands and a sinking feeling in my chest. That night, I did not even have a bed to move to, because the guest room had no furniture yet. I grabbed a blanket and pillow from the hallway closet and slept on the couch. I stared at the ceiling for hours, trying to understand what had just happened. 7 years of marriage, and my wife had just kicked me out of our bedroom with 4 words. Deal with it. The next morning, I went to the store and bought an air mattress for the guest room. If this was how things were going to be, I needed to at least have somewhere proper to sleep. Diane was already gone when I woke up. She had not said goodbye. I told myself she was stressed from work. The promotion had been a big adjustment. Maybe she just needed time to settle into the new role, and things would get better. So I gave her space. I continued doing everything I always did. I cooked dinner every night, even though half the time she would not eat it. I did the laundry, including hers. I cleaned the house, mowed the lawn, paid the bills. I tried to be the supportive husband she needed, but Diane only pulled further away. She started coming home even later sometimes, not until 9 or 10 at night. On weekends, she was always busy with colleague meetings or client dinners. I started to feel like a roommate in my own home, except roommates at least acknowledged each other's existence. One evening, I left dinner on the table for her with a note saying what time I had made it and how to reheat it. When she finally came home at 9:30, she walked right past it into the kitchen. I heard her open the refrigerator, then close it again. "There is dinner on the table if you are hungry." I called from the living room where I was reading. I already ate. She did not say where or with whom. She just went upstairs to the bedroom, our bedroom, and closed the door. 3 weeks into this new arrangement, I came home early from work one Friday. I had finished a major project, and my boss told me to take off early. As I walked up the stairs to grab some clothes from the bedroom to wash, I heard Diane's voice through the closed door. She was laughing, that light, genuine laugh I had not heard in months, the laugh she used to give me. I stopped outside the door, my hand on the knob. Her voice was bright, almost girlish. "I miss you too." Yeah, he is clueless. "Do not worry about it." More laughter. The tone was unmistakable, intimate, affectionate. My stomach twisted. I knocked on the door. The laughter cut off immediately. I heard rustling, then silence. "Come in," Diane said, her voice flat again. I opened the door. She was sitting on the bed phone in her lap screen dark. "Who was that work call? Why are you home early?" Her tone was not defensive or guilty. It was annoyed, like I had interrupted something important and had no right to be there. Like I was the one intruding in my own house. "Just finished my project early. Boss said I could leave." She nodded already, looking back at her phone. Okay, that was it. No curiosity about my project, no happiness that I was home. Just a dismissal. I grabbed some clothes from the dresser and left my mind racing. Over the next 2 weeks, I started paying attention to things I had been trying to ignore. Credit card statements with charges from expensive restaurants I had never been to. New clothes in Diane's closet outfits she never wore around me. A different perfume. Something floral and expensive, replacing her usual scent. One evening, she left her phone on the kitchen counter while she went upstairs to shower. The screen lit up with a text notification. I was not the kind of person who went through people's phones. I believed in privacy and trust, but something made me look. The message preview showed, "Cannot wait to see you tomorrow. He will not know." The sender was listed as Brad. My heart pounded so hard I thought I might pass out. I picked up the phone, but it was locked. I set it back down exactly where it had been, my hands shaking. All the pieces were falling into place now. The late nights, the distance, the way she talked to me like I was an inconvenience. She was having an affair. I could have confronted her right then. Part of me wanted to storm upstairs and demand answers. But something stopped me. If I confronted her now, emotional and unprepared, I would lose. She would turn it around on me somehow, make me the bad guy, or worse, I would beg her to stay and she would know she had all the power. So I waited. I started being more observant. A few days later, Diane left her laptop open on the dining table while she ran out to grab her dry cleaning. I walked past it and glanced at the screen. Her email was open. Right there at the top was a confirmation for a hotel reservation for the upcoming weekend. 2 nights at a boutique hotel downtown. The reservation was under her name. But when I checked the calendar on the refrigerator where we usually marked important dates, there was no business trip scheduled. Her company's website showed no conferences or events that weekend. I took out my phone and photographed the screen. Then I closed the laptop and went back to the living room as if nothing had happened. Over the next week, I did not confront Diane. Instead, I prepared. I made copies of all our financial documents, photographed credit card statements showing charges at hotels and restaurants. I took screenshots of the text messages I could see on her locked screen when notifications came through. I documented everything. Then I contacted a divorce attorney. His name was Mr. Peterson, a no-nonsense man in his 50s who had handled hundreds of divorce cases. I showed him everything I had gathered. "This is good evidence," he said, looking through the papers I had brought. "In this state, adultery can affect asset division and alimony. With your documentation and her income level, you are in a strong position. What do I need to do? Keep documenting. Do not let her know you are aware. And when you are ready, we file the papers. She will be served, and then the process begins." I opened a separate bank account and transferred my personal savings money I had from before the marriage, plus my portion of what I had contributed to our joint account. Everything legal. Everything documented. Mr. Peterson helped me understand exactly what was mine and what was marital property. Then I waited for the right moment. It came 3 weeks later on a Thursday evening. I had been living in the guest room for almost 2 months by then. Diane barely acknowledged my existence. That night I decided to try one more time, not because I wanted to save the marriage anymore, but because I needed her to show me who she really was. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone as usual. I sat down in the chair across from her. "Diane, when are we going to talk about us?" She did not look up. "There is nothing to talk about. You kicked me out of our bedroom 2 months ago. You are never home. We do not eat together. We do not talk. This is not a marriage." She finally looked at me, irritation clear on her face. "What do you want me to say, Alexander? I want to know what happened. I want to know if you even care about saving this relationship." She set her phone down hard on the coffee table. "You want to know what happened? I will tell you what happened. I got tired. I got tired of coming home to you asking about my day like we are in some sitcom. I got tired of your neediness, your constant attempts to force connection when I clearly do not want it. I told you I needed space. Why is that so hard for you to understand? I am needy because I want to talk to my wife, because I want to feel like I matter in my own marriage. You know what?" She stood up, her voice rising. "I do not owe you explanations. I told you what I need. I need space. I need to not feel suffocated. Deal with it." She was yelling now, her face flushed, hands on her hips. The words echoed in the living room. "Deal with it." The same words she had used 2 months ago, but this time screamed at me like I was a disobedient child. I looked at her for a long moment. Then I nodded slowly, calmly. "Okay, I will." Something in my tone made her pause. She was expecting me to argue, to get emotional, to beg, but I was done with that. "You are right," I continued, standing up. "I should deal with it." I walked past her toward the guest room, leaving her standing there looking confused. She had no idea what was coming. The next morning, while Diane was at work, I went to Mr. Peterson's office and signed the divorce papers. He had everything ready. Evidence of the affair, documentation of assets, a fair division proposal that protected my interests. The papers would be served to Diane at her office on Monday. I came home and called a moving company. They would come the following week to help me pack and move to a small apartment I had already rented near my office. It was a one-bedroom place, nothing fancy, but it was mine. A fresh start. That Friday evening, Diane came home around 9 as usual. She walked into the living room and stopped. I had 4 boxes stacked by the door, half packed with my belongings. "What are you doing?" she asked. I looked up from where I was wrapping a picture frame in newspaper, dealing with it. She laughed, but it sounded uncertain. "About time. Is the guest room not comfortable enough for you?" I stood up and faced her. "No, I am moving out, and you will receive divorce papers Monday morning." The smile dropped from her face. "What? You heard me. I am filing for divorce." She stared at me like I had just spoken a foreign language. "You cannot be serious." I walked over to my bag and pulled out a folder. Inside was a copy of the divorce petition. I handed it to her. "Very serious. And I have evidence of your affair with Brad. My lawyer says it will affect asset division." Her face went white. She opened the folder with shaking hands, scanning the first page. "How did you?" "You went through my phone, laptop, email, credit card statements, text message notifications. You were not exactly careful." She looked up at me, and for the first time in months, I had her full attention. But it was not the kind of attention I had wanted for so long. It was panic. "Wait, we can talk about this. You cannot just file for divorce without discussing it with me first. You said there was nothing to talk about. Remember, 3 hours ago you told me to deal with it. Well, this is how I am dealing with it." "Alexander, please." Her voice cracked. "I made a mistake. It meant nothing. We can go to counseling. We can fix this. You have spent the last 6 months pushing me away. You told me I was needy for wanting to connect with my own wife. You kicked me out of our bedroom and treated me like I was invisible in my own home. And now, because there are consequences, suddenly you want to talk." Tears were running down her face now. Real tears, not the cold dismissal I had gotten used to. "Please, do not do this. I will end it with him. We can start over." "Too late, Diane. You wanted space. You are about to have all the space you need." I picked up one of the boxes and walked toward the door. She followed me, crying, begging, saying everything she should have said months ago. But the words were empty now. I could see it in her eyes. She was not sorry for hurting me. She was sorry she got caught. Sorry there were consequences. I loaded the box into my car and came back for another. Diane was sitting on the couch, now the divorce papers on her lap, crying into her hands. I felt nothing but relief. "I will be back tomorrow for the rest of my things," I said. My lawyer will be in touch about the house and asset division. She looked up at me, mascara running down her cheeks. I love you. No, you do not. And maybe you never did. But that is okay. I am done trying to convince someone to value me. I walked out the door and did not look back. The divorce took 2 months to finalize. With the evidence of Diane's affair, the judge ruled in my favor on several key points. We split the marital assets fairly, and because Diane had a higher income than me and the adultery was proven, I did not owe her anything. She had to buy out my half of the house, or sell it and split the proceeds. She chose to sell. During those 2 months, Diane tried to contact me multiple times. Text messages saying she was confused, that she did not know what she wanted, that she missed me. I did not respond. My lawyer handled all communication about the divorce proceedings. I heard through a mutual friend that Brad had ended things with Diane the moment he found out about the divorce. Apparently he had just wanted the excitement of an affair, not the responsibility of an actual relationship. Diane had lost both of us. The husband she had taken for granted, and the man she thought she wanted. As for me, I moved into my 1-bedroom apartment and started rebuilding. The first few weeks were hard, I will admit that. I had gotten used to having someone in the house, even if that someone barely acknowledged me. The silence felt heavy at first. But then something shifted. I realized the silence was not loneliness. It was peace. I did not have to wonder what time Diane would come home. I did not have to prepare dinner that would not be eaten. I did not have to walk on eggshells in my own home. I did not have to feel invisible. I started running in the mornings before work, something I had given up years ago because Diane said my alarm woke her. I joined a rock climbing gym and went every Saturday morning. I reconnected with old friends that Diane had called boring. We started a monthly poker night. I threw myself into my work and ended up getting promoted to senior developer, a position I had been passed over for twice before. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I met someone at a coffee shop. Her name was Josie. She was a nurse at the local hospital grabbing coffee between shifts. We started talking when we both reached for the last blueberry muffin at the same time. She laughed and insisted I take it. I suggested we split it instead. We exchanged numbers, started texting, then coffee dates turned into dinner dates. Josie was kind, genuinely kind, not the performative kindness that hides resentment. She listened when I talked. She asked questions because she actually wanted to know the answers, not because she was being polite. When I told her about my divorce, she did not pry or judge. She just said, "That must have been really hard. I am glad you are doing better now." We took things slow, no rushing into anything. And for the first time in years, I felt like I was in a relationship where both people actually wanted to be there, where respect was not something I had to beg for. It was just given freely and naturally. A year after that Tuesday night when Diane told me she was not sleeping with me anymore, I was sitting on the balcony of the apartment I now shared with Josie. We had decided to move in together a month earlier. The sunset was painting the sky orange and pink, and I had a cold beer in my hand. Josie came out and sat next to me, resting her head on my shoulder. "What are you thinking about? Just how different everything is now." Good different. Really good different. Someone once asked me if I regretted leaving Diane, if I ever missed her or wished I had tried harder to save the marriage. The answer was simple. No. Not even a little. Because here is what I learned. Love is not enough when there is no respect. Diane had stopped respecting me long before she kicked me out of the bedroom. Maybe she never really respected me at all. She thought I would always be there, always accept whatever scraps of attention she decided to give me. She thought telling me to deal with it would make me shut up and disappear into the background of her life. But sometimes dealing with it does not mean staying and suffering. Sometimes it means recognizing your own worth and walking away from people who cannot see it. It means understanding that you deserve better than being treated like you are invisible in your own home, like your feelings do not matter, like your presence is an inconvenience. I also realized how fortunate I was that we did not have children. Kids would have made everything infinitely more complicated, more painful. I could make a clean break and start fresh, without worrying about custody battles or trying to co-parent with someone who had shown me such contempt. Looking back now, I can see that Diane did me a favor. She pushed me out so completely that I had no choice but to find myself again, to remember what it felt like to be valued, to understand that being alone is better than being with someone who makes you feel alone. I do not know what happened to Diane after the divorce. I heard she moved to a different city for work. I hope she is happy. I genuinely do. Not because I still care about her in that way, but because holding on to anger would only hurt me. She made her choices and I made mine. We both have to live with them. As for me, I am exactly where I need to be. On a balcony with someone who actually wants me there, watching the sunset, feeling genuinely content for the first time in years. No resentment. No wondering where my partner is, or if they even want to be with me. Just peace. So yeah, when Diane yelled at me to deal with it, I did. Just not in the way she expected. And honestly, I have never made a better decision in my life. Before I finish, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose between staying in something comfortable but wrong, or leaving for something uncertain but potentially better? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope it helps someone out there find the courage to choose themselves. Remember, you deserve to be with people who see your value without you having to prove it every single day. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.